Hey viewer, did you know that Ex-Aid is about to end this month? And replacing it is Kamen Rider Build. They've already put out a trailer for it. Sorry if saying the name of it is a spoiler to you. I'm looking forward to Build. His suit reminds me of Double, which is kind of reassuring because a lot of the suits recently are trying to be different.
Yeah.
First form view.
I'm pretty sure the rabbit thing is for jumping.
It's something new. I don't think we've gotten a rabbit. I'm sure it'll be dropped as soon as he gets it. Whatever. It's a cool thing to start.
I'm pretty. The thing that I'm pretty worried about Build is about this forms, because in Ex-Aid at least, the forms, the more forms get significantly powerful as it goes along.
Yeah.
But with Build is just a combination of the entire first line is a combination of forms like double. I hope they handle the forms that way.
Yeah, one of my problems with Ex-Aid is that the power scaling is fucked.
Well, I wouldn't say it's the power scaling of Ex-Aid is much better than at least in other shows, because the thing is that you have level 1, 2,
3, 5,
then
10.
Yeah, that's about it. And is between level 99. Yeah, it's weaker than 99, stronger than 50. That's level X. But the only problem in power scaling in Ex-Aid is level 0.
I would just say the way it ramps up is
that
a problem.
Also is a problem, but at least as far as the thing goes, they have not ruined they have not completely they have not completely thrown out the power scaling, so it's okay.
I do agree with you, though. The way Double handled it was excellent. He had all his base forms, and then, okay, here's a stronger form, and then later down the road, here's his final form.
Yeah. And in the I would tell the worst way that handled was Drive, because Drive and Force they handle their forms forms and power up things the worst, I would say.
I've seen neither of those. Please explain.
Okay, in Drive they basically use the Drive has form changes, he just changes the tires and then he gets a better power up, kind of like that. With his base form, he gets a different tire change, and then he gets another upgrade form called Wild, where he can use other set of tires to get weapons and stuff, which they don't use much. That was the issue. And then he gets a mid-season power up, which they don't use much either, and then he gets his final form, which he uses all the time.
So they introduce a bunch of unnecessary forms that don't really see any play. That's bad.
Except in this specific episode, there's no use of the form. That's pretty much what I didn't like about Drive. Same with Force. He has 40 of those small power-up thingies.
Well, he only had 4 or 5 different forms, though. Most of them were just tools.
Yeah, but what's the point of having the tools if you don't use them?
He used them. Some more than others, because some ended up being incredibly situational.
Yeah,
I
that's true. But at least it's like, and but Forza you can give it a pass, but Drive you can't because he never used the proper forms as well.
like Forza had a Gatling gun that he rarely used. Sure, it would have been powerful if it hit, but being strapped to his leg, I'm sure that was impossible for him to aim. So I don't blame him for not using it.
That's true. Okay, I would say O's handle the power. O's, despite having 119 forms in the show, he handled them pretty well. Because you could say that because he since he used to gain and lose medals all the time, he could just be restricted to that one specific combo or
That was a
limited
really
number of
interesting
combos.
way to go about it too. Like they're
Yeah,
all competing for the medals, and so O's is limited to his forms by which medals he has at any given time because
yeah,
they're constantly being stolen.
yeah. That's what I liked about. At least that's what I liked about O's. That he even with 119 different forms, they handle it pretty well.
Uh, so I feel bad for the costume designer, because I'm pretty sure that each individual form that we see him do, each different combination, is its own suit, rather than just making the suits in different pieces like they should have done.
Yeah,
I mean, we keep trying to do shit like that, but the problem with that is like it makes the suits bulky. And like Toei has a lot of stunt people, so it's fine because like man, they keep doing the versus movies, so they must have a lot of stunt people. So it's fine. Like it's not that bad.
Green screen's a hell of a thing.
Yeah. Also, like, just in case the beginning of this stream was cut off, um, what we're talking about is actually because Ex-Aid's ending and build is coming up. We're just talking about like, builds, forms, or because a new trailer just came out and stuff, or just general power scaling and stuff. So I'll let you guys continue.
Yeah, we're just comparing what we're expecting of build to the way rider forms were handled in previous series.
yeah.
An interesting one that I hope they don't do was Kiva. I say
Hmm.
interesting because he had two forms. His base form just had three different power ups. And then he had
No, no.
his final form, which he abused to all hell.
Well,
Well,
that's more.
wait. I give Kiva a pass on forms because he handled that forms. The thing is that okay, Doga, Garuru, and Basha were used for the Imagine effect. I would say.
Yeah, I'm fine with the way Kiva did it. It makes him stand out unique. I don't think anyone else could pull that shit off
Yeah.
because Kiva barely did.
The thing about in okay, the Dogabaki form, right? The Emperor Dogabaki form. No, sorry, Dogabaki form of like he gets the all three of the armors in one.
Yeah,
Yeah, very Agito like.
Yeah. No, it was very Deno climax form like.
No, what I mean is like he literally looks like Agito.
Oh, oh.
With his three forms, because that's the whole gimmick of like Agito. When he powers up, it's like one arm, both of them together. Like it's the exact setup of how Agito's powers work. And that's
Okay.
that's kind of interesting because like Inoue wrote Agito and then he wrote Faiz, and basically Kiva is Agito and Ixa is Faiz.
Yeah, pretty much.
Uh,
Ixa Kaiksa. That name couldn't be a coincidence.
I mean, like they make a pretty good joke of like, oh, why is it Ixa? It's because the weapon. What's the weapon? Oh, it's the Ixa caliber. I was like, you
Uh,
just couldn't resist that pun, could you, huh? Yeah, as for like Kiva, like because it came out so close to Deno, They kind of had to do the Imagine thing, and that's why Kiva's castle has that like, hey, you can go back in time because they have like one time door. Because Kiva has everything. All right, it literally has everything.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. When I saw Kiva had time travel and Deno had nothing to do with it, I was baffled. You still had Deno's actor. Deno literally just ended. You had everything there. You were making another Deno movie at the time. Why didn't you just write that in so it made more sense?
I mean,
okay, I'll tell you something.
Yeah.
They always how writers shows want everything to be separated.
Well, they used to, not anymore. But yeah,
They used to. Now they can do whatever the hell
The
they want.
original Showa era writers, like, they would have frequent team ups with past writers.
okay. See, they wouldn't have frequent team ups. What happened there is when the ratings were going down, they're like, oh, let's bring in the old guys, and that's why like the later half of like Skyrider, which was basically supposed to be a reboot, because we tend to think Rider is like Showa and Heisei, but it's not. It's more like you had the original run till Amazon, then it took a break. Then you had like 2 other shows, then it took a break, and then you had like the 2 black shows, and that took a break, and then you had the 3 90s movies, then it took a break, and then like Kuga happened, and then Heisei Rider. So like there's actually a lot of gaps. Go ahead.
But the thing about this one is that after Build, Heisei is pretty much ending.
Because the new era.
Yeah.
Yeah, new era. I think.
See, that doesn't make any sense because I think it's still gonna be the same emperor for the 2020 Olympics.
No, I don't think so because he said that he's gonna get retired by 2019.
Oh, okay.
So, for those of you that don't know anything about Japan, Showa era and Heisei era refers to the Emperor of Japan at the time, and the current emperor is going to be stepping down soon.
Yeah, and then if this happens, then the next series after Build is gonna have the black situation, black RX situation. Sorry.
Oh, the half and half.
Yeah, half and half.
Well, yeah, because I mean, like, I go with like how Black RX solved it. It's like whatever it starts in, that's what it's counted in.
Plus, it was a sequel to Black, which was Showa, so why not?
Yeah.
So basically, that thing is gonna be the last. Is it gonna be the 20th Heisei series?
Is it?
Exactly, capping off at an even number. Yeah, 20th. Build is 19th.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, like, unless Toei does something batshit crazy in that, and it's so drastically different that we count that as a new era, which is unlikely, but God, you know what I fucking hope? Because like Sentai and Rider are so joined, I hope they just go like, all right, you see this Rider guy? He's your sixth ranger. He's just gonna go do his own shit. He's just gonna show up every once in a while. Like, think about it. About how many crossovers we have now. Like, it would make so much sense, right? Like, look at Q Ranger. Like, Stinger went off and did his own thing, which was his arc. Like, he literally stepped into a Rider show. I mean, his villainous brother was fucking Melon Lord, right? Right? Help me out here.
Oh, God.
Okay, so now I'm imagining, like, if in Go Busters, fucking Drive just showed up.
Well, I mean, like, if you want the best crossover, think of, like, Gaim and Tokyuger, where we're so perfect. It's like the Tokyugers were just traveling, and then one time, they just stopped in fucking, like, you know, like...
Rider Town.
Yeah, basically, Rider Town.
Because there was, like, what, 20 riders?
I mean, at that time, I think there was, like, 6 of them running around or something.
Yeah, at that time, there was a small number, but holy shit, that was Rider Town. Are we gonna actually talk about Ex-Aid?
I was gonna say that.
Yeah, okay. You know, we didn't even do our intro or names.
Well, we were waiting for you to be like, okay, we're ready now.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
were literally just filling in the dead air waiting for you.
Cool. Okay, let's just redo it. So, long-awaited opening. Welcome everyone to the Toku Portal podcast. It's me, Zero, here with.
Right?
Drago.
And finally tonight we'll be talking about Kamen Rider Ex-Aid, episode 41. Uh, to give a quick recap, last week Emu convinced Peridot to team up with him. They defeated Kronos, and then Kronos activated a bullshit reset ability. So now we pick up this week. Masamune is at a business meeting with the CEO of a company that specializes in VR technology. Now, the past few episodes, we've actually been getting glimpses of Masamune talking to him on the phone. I just haven't been adding those to the notes because they were so short scenes that they weren't really relevant at the time. This CEO wants to combine their work to create a new game together, but Masamune is only interested in spreading Kamen Rider Chronicle overseas, not making a new game. This brings their discussion to an impasse, and pretty much ends it. At CR, Dan is frustrated at the loss of Hyper Muteki because of Reset. Things were reset to before Dan made the Gashat. They've also lost all of the proto-Gashats Kiria had collected. On the bright side, the reset cured Nico of the Gain Deus strain of Gain syndrome, and all of the gamer drivers and Gashats that were stolen are now back in their possession. Anything on this so far?
Okay, let me say Machina Vision, Game Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like,
Yeah.
Ryder is not super clever about making puns and references, so.
They're not even being very sly about it. And yeah, and also the fact that okay, there are so many problems with this time travel thing. Okay, the reset thing about the what do you call it? There is where did they get what happened is that where did they get the Tokimeki Crisis Gashet trophy from? Tattle Legacy, then Saki, and there were stuff like that, but at least that's what I think.
So, the reset only went back so far. Dan had given them the Tokimeki Crisis clear token, so even if that did get reset, he could just do it again.
Yeah. Saki's death, yeah, I think that could be done again if Tiger decided to save Snipe's life. No, sorry, Hero decided to save Snipe's life, then yeah, that would have been there as well, Saki's death. So those two were okay, but I'm just not sure about about a few things. But it's okay. That's fine. Ex-Aid hasn't been explaining the mechanics properly. That's the one complaint I have about this show. Other things are okay. Then yeah, I also like it was this scene was pretty much fine. It was just an what do you call it intro, and then the Gashat and drivers they did a clever way to bring them back, I would say.
This whole final arc has just been one excuse after another to keep the series going. And while we have gotten a lot of good things out of it, it's been getting harder and harder to justify.
Yeah, the thing about I guess the problem with I blame the writer and the structure of Rider itself a bit, because what happens in the Rider show is that they have to do a 40 plus episode run, and I guess he had only written like 40 episodes, 40, and some 4 or 5 episodes he had to write filler. That's what in my opinion happened. And also that, but one thing is that I can't complain about the hero last 3 episodes because they have been really good.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not super in love with those episodes, but um, what are you gonna do? As for everything else, like this episode's really solid. I mean, I have like one problem. Like, I wish they would explored like the whole thing of like, well, we turned the Buckster good, but like the humans still hold a grudge. But I'm like, there's 3 episodes to go. We do not have time for this shit. Um, like I wish we had time to discuss that because instead of like, yeah, this arc seems the most padded. Like the problem is fucking Kronos. Like Emu is kind of problematic too because he's a little OP, but like you could kind of deal with him because like so many characters are helping him and shit like that. So, but Kronos is like the worst. This is the problem with Ex-Aid is like all the goodwill Ex-Aid kind of built up. Like this arc is kind of a little lackluster because of
Mm.
Kronos and like being a little padded that it's kind of taken away some of that goodwill. And the problem is like this could have been one of the greats. Like it's still a good show, but like for a time it was going to beat Kuga at being the best. And with this final arc, it's definitely not going to beat Kuga now because like these last couple episodes that are left are probably going to be really good, which I hope they are because like they don't have to fucking stall for anything now. Um, but like the last couple, like yeah, that's what it felt like the show needed a couple episodes of filler, except like this show has no filler, so it just has like random padded plot points.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, also considering it's written by one guy, it's amazing how like not terrible the pacing is until the end where I'm like, yeah, like he wrote like a 41 episode show and like maybe if you took all the padding of Ex-Aid and you got rid of like maybe 2 episodes, that would have been
Yeah.
like all the padding you could cut, like the runtime, like maybe 40 minutes, probably less than that. And like for a 41 episode show, that's amazing. But what do you gonna
Yeah, but at least I wouldn't hold this against Exide because the thing is that but the thing is that Kuga had the advantage of being one, a murder happy, and two,
I mean, Kuga did have 3 filler episodes, like
yeah,
clip
and it
shows.
did also have three filler clip show episodes. So I don't think it's right to hold it against Exade for those padding because at least we can understand. The only problem that I have had is that in the middle when the Kronos was the big Kronos was supposed to be the big bad and just he didn't turn out to be as a big of a bad that as he was portrayed as. That kind of killed it because we have seen Kronos being defeated how many times and how many different people already.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
yeah, what Drago said is pretty much my problem, my biggest problem with the final arc. I would have been fine with them introducing a new villain just to pad the runtime, but Kronos isn't a good villain. And I know King has made the argument of why he's genius and how he stalls the riders out, but that's literally why he's a bad final villain. All he does is stall them out and try to keep them from regressing, so he's literally only accomplishment has just been slowing the show down.
Yeah, whereas the show should be ramping up right now. I know exactly what you mean. Basically, the thing is, Masamune is the same level of threat that Love Rika was. Like, he's a threat, he's annoying, but he's not the final villain type of threat. That's the problem.
Okay,
I mean, like,
wait.
go ahead.
Just saying that with Lavrika, it made sense, and Lavrika was pretty entertaining.
Yeah, that's what
Masamune lost his entertainment in the middle. Like he lost it after getting beaten by Hero and Exade, especially.
yeah, like his problem is that he's a little like he's not final villain material. He's like highest lieutenant material. Like it feels like there should
No,
be one guy.
wait.
I mean, like technically, Game DS is the guy, but like he just shows up. You know, like he's a Sentai final villain where it's like, all right, we hear about this guy, and you know how in like every last episode of Sentai where it's like, all right, it's just gonna be them blasting the final villain. It's really just padding at this point. It's a formality. That's what Game DS is. Like he has no
Oh,
character.
wait.
He's just the villain. And like
Oh, wait. You know,
yeah, go ahead.
okay. There's one thing about Masamune that at least they could have done. They could, if they hadn't made him so goddamn powerful, that would have been a way better. Like, like as riders progress in power, so does Masamune. That would have been a much better, what do you call it? Much better, like, build up, or like much better power. Giving the villain power up would have been much better than just making me OP and getting it ass kicked every next episode.
So, spoilers for Kuga. I have a big problem with Kuga's ending, especially his final battle, because it is built up throughout the final arc how strong like the final opponent is, and how like strong a battle it's going to be to fight him. And then when Kuga finally gets to him at the end of the series and fights him, they literally plant their feet where they stand and take turns punching each other in the face until they both fall down.
Okay, like that works
And
thematically.
okay, we don't even get to see the entire fight, because for that we need to play Batra.
Yeah, it's basically like I know what you're saying. I hate that fight too because like it's the only fight of Kuga that any like material references. Like, oh, this is the Kuga segment. Why? Because we can't get Godai to voice it, so we're just gonna put the end of Kuga, where they're just standing there punching. And yeah, I agree. Like, I fucking hate that fight. It's garbage. But like thematically, it works because it's like, here's the fucking like, super villain, like the everything against humanity guy. He's gonna kill us all, and then this is one human who said, no, fuck you, I'm not gonna let you. And so like thematically it works because they're just both standing their ground and like fighting it out, and like while Kuga tries not to lose his humanity. And yeah, the build up for it's great. It just feels like, oh crap, we just ran out of time and budget, even though like Kuga ran like a solid 50 episodes.
You're right. That there's a meaning behind that fight that really stands there. The problem is that it's just not a good fight.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say it's the Amazon season 2 problem where they just abruptly cut the fight at the end.
Okay, that's clearly because they're like, okay, we do not have the budget to make this as epic as it needs to.
No, I'm pretty sure that they just cut the fight to make it as depressing as possible.
I mean, yeah, it's true because like they don't want like that episode's super depressing, so like yeah, we don't want like they didn't want the theme of that episode to be like sidestepped by all this fucking action. So yeah, I kind of get that.
Yeah.
As for like,
okay, let's continue with Ex-Aid.
No. I just have one more thing to tell. Like, yeah, like how Kuga's final fight kind of sucks, and like some other writers tend to like stall out. Like, I was hoping this show wouldn't do the ghosting of like stalling it out. Like, it's not as terrible as Ghost, but like, it's basically got the same problem of like people being too OP. What it should have done is the Kiva thing, where it like Kiva's like last like 4 or 5 episodes just like ramp up and up and up until you have this like badass ending. And like that's one of those things is like, unfortunately all the shit before that is kind of boring, but like Kiva ends really strong. Blade ends fucking amazing. Like I wished Ex-Aid did something like that, but it won't.
I guess it is gonna end amazing, but just the problem that Masamune is that he was too OP to begin with. If they had just given him, made him progressively stronger and stronger and stronger, that would have been a much better, Masamune, a much better fight. Like, we would get to know why he gets defeated every time.
Yeah, I mean, like it.
Not every. Sorry.
Yeah, it makes like unfortunately I know why they had to make him OP because like the time he shows up, there's Emu with level 99 showing with two level 50s throwing down against a level 99 and two level 50s with like two level
No, no,
like
no,
one
no.
level
Okay, wait.
one level 0 and one level X, right? And so the problem then
Mm.
becomes it's like who do you put in here to fight them? Because like you put anybody under like level 99 or 100 and they'd get their ass handed to. Like you couldn't even put a level 99 guy because there were two level 99 guys standing in the middle of that fight.
No, three. Ex-Aid,
Oh
Graphite,
yeah,
and
graphite too, right? So that's even worse. So like I kind of see like how Kronos needed to be this powerful.
no.
The
Okay,
problem
no. All
is
he needed.
the problem is
Wait.
they should have given him a damn time limit on his pause.
On his pause. And no, I could understand. Yeah, they could have should have given him a damn time limit on his pause. And second, or they could have just made the pause was only the thing that made him super powerful, or else he's a regular level 99 guy or level 100 guy. There's something like that.
Yeah, that would have worked. Or like even if his pause had limits and like every fight he would just get it stronger or something. But yeah, like the problem is he doesn't change and he's too OP to begin with. And kind of derail the
Yeah,
plot for too long. Like if he was a little weaker, at least him like having Hero and Laser help him out would make so much more sense. Because it's like he
mm.
clearly knows like I can't fight these guys straight on.
Yeah. That would have been a really good idea. But yeah, it's that was the one gripe I have with X8. But I would still say that X8 is a very strong show from beginning till the end. Only the thing is that a bit in the middle, a bit of it is very, very bad.
They back when Dan was a villain, they handled Dangerous Zombie really well. Because when he's first introduced, he's the strongest out of all of them, and they can't beat him. And then as that arc rolls on, you see them progressively get stronger and stronger until they are literally just mopping the floor with him.
Yeah.
The problem is that Kronos doesn't have that. They literally go from we can't beat him to we can only beat him. Oh no, he reset it so that we can't beat him again.
Okay. I think I like that reset thing because it's that you know how Emma pulls Gashats out of his ass. Yeah, that's pretty much what Masamune did with the reset.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense how he could do it because like he's the other patient zero, right? So like Emu is like he pulled out a game genie out of nowhere, or basically, um, and then like, well, I guess laser helped, but the thing is like Masamune has the like system to build gashats, so like it's basically the same amount of access anyway. So like he would build something even more OP. So I'm kind of fine with that. Plus like you'd never see him fully like use his bugster side, so like it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
I wish the problem is like he's a swarmy like he's too strong and he's kind of like a jackass businessman and like that's his whole character. He needed something else. Like like maybe every time he used it like the bugster side was taking over him or something. You know, like at least like he had his own peridot type thing going on. Then at least you might
Mm.
have had something and wouldn't feel so padded, but like yeah, it's just like
Okay, let's continue.
yeah, basically basically the problem is it feels like standard Heisei Rider where it's like, oh, why did the monster of the week escape? Oh, because we needed to fill this episode out, and that's like the whole arc of Kronos, which kind of sucks. But Exit as a whole, like, yeah, it's a little padded in this arc, but otherwise it's really solid.
Okay. Now, wait. Rai, continue.
Yeah, we're still like 3 minutes into the episode here. Emu, Prado, and Puppy go to ask Graphite if he'll team up with them. Masamune shows up as Kronos to interrupt. So Emu and Prado work together to try and fight him off, but they're at a disadvantage without Hyper Muteki, so they're eventually forced to run away. But we do get a really good moment of Kronos getting ready to finish off Emu, and then Prado jumps in the way. Like, no, I won't let you take his life. And then Emu jumps in the way in front of Prado, like, no, you have to value your own life as well.
Yeah, that was a really good moment. Also, that building they're fighting in front of, isn't that the one from season 2 of Amazons?
Yes, it is. I
Probably.
was gonna say that. It's probably that because which got destroyed.
Yeah, it's the one where they use like the heavy shot for the first time.
Yeah.
Oh my
You can see it, like, just off camera. Amazons is happening.
dude, if Amazons were okay, you do not understand how important that building is and that what the hell was inside that. Right?
I actually don't. I haven't seen
Yeah.
Amazons.
So if you just said like if Amazons is happening, like if that character is invisible and hiding in that building, like they were in Amazons, like you have no idea what kind of holy fuck that would have been. Like I mean, Drago knows.
Okay.
Drago knows because he's watched it. So you know, like, oh right, it's only like the basically like the second highest villain, like almost to the top, like hiding in this building, and we're just gonna have this insane showdown in front of it. Like, fuck. Like if actually Ryder tried to pull something like that, that'd be amazing, but they don't. I mean, like they've used a couple other Amazon's locations in Ex-Aid, so it makes sense. Plus, like that guy who's in Amazon's is gonna be in Build, so that should be interesting too.
Back at CR, Dan announces that because Emu got Prado team up with him, they received both of Prado's clear tokens. How or why? That's not important. What's important is that they only have one clear token left, Graphite's. And then they can summon Deus, and then defeat him, and end Kamen Rider Chronicle. Emu wants to ask for Graphite's help, but Taiga, Nico, and Hiro are all against it. They'd rather just defeat him.
Yeah, so this is what I was saying is like, basically at this point we had like a Bugster who learned like, hey, it's cool not to kill all the Bugsters, and then like you have like Hiro and Taiga and Nico just ready to fucking murder Graphite like right then and there. I'm like this should have been a story arc where the humans learn like, hey, let's not kill all the fucking Bugsters because they're a sentient species, you know, like let's not fucking do Drive all over again. But like we've got 3 episodes, so we don't have time. As for like the clear tokens, like Peridot's helping them, so I guess Dan can make the tokens now. Whatever. It's another like plot convenience, but like we have no time.
Meanwhile, Puppy and Prado approach Graphite again to ask for his help, and Graphite turns them down, saying goodbye to his old comrade. Dan begins working on recreating Hyper Muteki, using Emu's help to try and figure out a way to counter Reset. He literally works himself to death and loses another life. Fortunately, Reset also restored most of the lives that he had lost. So now he just blows at least a dozen, working through the night, and he just kind of like progressively gets more and more insane each time.
I mean, he blows like 8 of them, so like 1 every hour, which is insane. Like, it's probably because like Dan, because of his save system, he works a little differently. It's like it's more like if his energy ever gets low, he just like resets. Instead of like instead of like
the first time we see him die, he goes from 94 to 93, and then later after the cut, he's at 82. So he lost at least a dozen lives.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but also the fact it was pretty funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really especially the interaction between Kiria and Dan, and then Kiria at the background doing nothing, like doing stuff.
yeah, that's funny. Also, like Kiria's hat, I'm still on the fence if I like it or not. Um, but like, what the fuck does Kiria even do in this show anymore? Like, we brought him back and he does nothing. I was thinking like,
Comic relief.
Another problem I have with this arc is that as much as I wanted Kiria back, I was under the impression that he would be a big asset when he came back.
yeah, I was hoping like because Dan was so focused in doing it one way and like Emu was just trying to like help and remember how like his powers worked. So like he was so busy like Kiria because he's also like he helped create level 99, right? Like I was hoping Kiria would figure something else out which would help, but like he does nothing. I was like, come on, man! You could have just given them like a hint or an idea or something. At least it would have proved your worth. It's
When
kind
Dan
of
dies the first time in this scene, Kiria like crumbles, or like he was folding like a paper airplane, I think, and he just tosses it. I was hoping that he was trying to toss it into the pipe that Dan was going to come out of.
oh my god, that would have been great.
I was really hoping for it, and it didn't happen.
Okay, or at least like when it cuts back to later and you see Dan revived, I wish there was like just you see like crumple of paper on the ground by the pipe like Kiria tried it a couple times. Like okay, he wouldn't expect to do it the first time, but like after like the third or fourth, like he would have done it.
I would have done it.
Why not, right? Like the fucker killed you. You get cheap shots.
Taiga, Hiro, and Nico approach Graphite to challenge him. Graphite asks what they're fighting for. Taiga wants to settle the score from Zero Day, and Hiro wants to preserve humanity's future by ending Kamen Rider Chronicle. The past and the future. Graphite is an enemy character from a game, therefore, it is his purpose to fight. So, the three of them have a fight that also lasts through the night. Like, they approach him at sunset, and the sun is up again when this fight finally ends.
Yeah, that's probably like the longest fight in Rider history at this point. Like, this is the type of shit you would think you would see in like a a Rider versus Rider movie or something, or like a Rider war scene or anything, except usually it's like, oh look, it's been like an hour, they're all almost dead. you know right, like this is the type
Okay.
of thing you would see. Let me just do my thing and you can go, Drago. Man, it took me this long to figure out like the dynamic between the three. It's like past, future, and present. I was like, oh yeah, they have been kind of setting that up. It's just Graphite's kind of been in the background for so long. It's kind of hard to remember all that. Also, I think it took me till this episode to finally figure out what Graphite's all about, and like, it's one of those weird things. Like, I want to say respect, but it's not respect. It's more like grudging acknowledgement of like, okay, you walked your path in life. You walked your the path of heaven or whatever. Basically, it just means walk your own path. And like Graphite's thing was like, what I want to do in life is what my purpose is. I'm like, well, at least one Bugster had to sort of do that, so it makes sense. And like the way he went out was pretty awesome. So like, yeah, I had to give him a little bit of respect for that. Like, it's kind of dumb that we had to kill him, but like, I guess we just don't have time to tell a better story at this point because
it's a very fitting end for him.
Yeah, it's a very fitting end, but like, if we had more episodes, we could have seen like an arc to save him too. But we don't have the time. But as for this episode alone, like yeah, it's a really good end. And go, Drago.
Okay, on Twitter we were like, okay, with when they were fight when this one when Tiger and Hero were fighting Graphite, didn't they? I guess they took a bathroom break. Cause dude,
Yeah,
they fought for more than 12 hours.
that's what I was thinking. I'm like, did Nico and go and use the bathroom or something? Like,
Nico probably did, but
like,
about
like
Snipe and Brave,
Perdo, Poppy. Okay, those guys are bugsters, so they don't have to go. But like, yeah, does the rider system? Is it like a spacesuit? Does it have a built-in like,
okay,
bathroom function? Yeah, go
They
ahead.
obviously
Okay,
went before they left.
For 8 hours.
no, but still, 12 hours is a long time for a break. Okay, I can.
Look.
There are three conclusions we came to.
Maybe they did the Kenshin live action thing of like they fought for a bit, then they sat down and ate, and they fought the rest of. Like, maybe they did the awesome. That would have been cool too, if they showed that
Yeah.
scene. But okay, go ahead, Brad.
Okay, yeah. So what the conclusion we came to is that either they peed their pants, or Kuroda had installed like bladder drainage system somewhere, and probably it's the gamer driver.
Well, it's big enough.
Yeah, that's why.
It's
Maybe
just,
they like
it's just a
tagged
gel.
off.
Yeah, okay.
Like
Hold on, man. I have
like
to use the
Hira
wash.
like Hira held off Graphite while Taiga went to take a piss, and then Taiga came back and held him off while Hiro went to take a piss.
Oh
Maybe
my
Nico
God.
got involved during those sections.
She's a
bit
level
more
1.
than not
She'd
at
be
all.
fucking dead. Oh my God. Was Nico the water girl? Like just handing us like refreshment? My God. This is
She like has bottles of water
in the
her
backpack.
backpack.
Yeah.
Like she even gives one to Graphite.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Fuck, somebody make a comic or something just for this. It's
Of
too
what
good.
happened off camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, Parado and Poppy do show up at one point to watch the fight. Parado even comments that Graphite looks like he's having fun. Graphite actually calls it the greatest battle he ever had. And in the end, Taiga and Hiro defeat Graphite, leaving Nico to give the actual killing blow to collect the final clear token. Kronos shows up because I guess he was actually sleeping at night like a normal human to stop the fight, pausing when Nico fires her gun. But Graphite is still immune to pause. He stands up, mad at Kronos for interrupting his glorious battle. He was defeated fair, and he wants to accept his defeat.
See, that
he
doesn't
still
make any sense. Because, like, if he was so weak... Like, this fight and the ending makes so much sense in character and stuff. The only problem is, like, how much damage did Graphite take? Because, like, he gets up and he starts, like, kicking Kronos' ass. I'm like, you clearly had enough fight. Like, you were not done. I think he was just like, yeah, this is my noble end, so I'm gonna go out like this, as opposed to, like, actually being defeated.
Well, it seems like he was pretty out of energy. It was one, like, decisive blow. It seemed like he just desperately called on what he could of the Game Days virus to make that attack happen.
That actually makes more sense.
He deals a decisive blow against Kronos, damaging the Buggle driver and undoing the pause. Graphite happily takes the final hit, glad that he was able to complete his purpose as an enemy character, and dies with no regrets. He still considers Parado and Poppy his best friends, and is glad that Taiga and Hiro helped him fulfill his purpose. The riders gather all of the clear tokens together uh, to summon Game Deus. Kronos attempts to use Reset again, but everyone is hit with a power-up, a new one, and Reset fails. Ex-Aid comes in with Hyper Muteki and knocks Kronos out of his henshin. Dan walks up and explains that Hyper Muteki now has a save feature, making Reset worthless.
Save states for the win.
Yeah, save states for your game, Genie. Because, if you're gonna beat OP, be more OP. I mean, to be fair, like, Reset's a fucking annoying power to begin with, so, like, better get rid of it.
Okay. Basically, what Ex-Aid is, that both sides are cheating so much that they are trying to one-up each other.
It's Dan's fault for making shit so impossibly hard in the first place.
I mean, to be
That's
fair...
Literally
true.
impossibly hard. His goal was to make it impossible.
Yeah, like...
Okay, the only way you could beat Kamen Rider Chronicle on your own were like two ways. One, either you use okay, Kamen Rider Chronicle would have been less of a threat if the riders hadn't prior defeated Graphite and everyone else to make them level up.
I mean, that was part of Dan's plan. Also, like, Kronos is supposed to be overpowered because it's built to fight the final boss, right? It's not supposed to be an enemy character. It's the ultimate hero, right?
Right.
Like, it's like you
Yeah.
beat Kamen Rider Chronicle, you get Kronos, and you take on Game Deus.
That's what I'm saying.
I think I got it. You know what? Nico, I guess, is going to transform into Kronos soon.
Okay, why don't you put that thought aside and get back to us when you thought about it a bit more than not at all.
Okay.
What? Okay. Oh, you saying Nico's... No, this is not a chance. Like, I'm going to be surprised if... Okay, there's like 3 episodes to go, but you never know if the Curse of the Female Rider strikes. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen. The thing is, as soon as they...
Yeah, at this point, they're both gonna live.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Yeah.
Nico's going to lose her ability to transform, though. Because as soon as Kamen Rider Chronicle ends, like... So what? They can't henshin.
You know that she'll, like, pester Dan to make her a special gadget that still
know
works.
that, but like, she's probably never gonna show up again. That kind of sucks. Like, shit.
Yeah,
She's not going to show up in Tyson and stuff. I guess she's going to show up in the next movie.
Like, I mean, if they do, it'd be awesome. Because my problem is, like, Poppy is a stronger rider than Nico right now, and she doesn't even henshin. Like, I don't know.
Okay.
Like, hell, she doesn't even look...
It makes sense with her character.
Yeah, fine. Whatever. She doesn't
Poppy
even...
isn't really a fighter, though. She was just kind of locked into doing that.
Okay, fine. Why doesn't she even use her human disguise anymore, then?
Because that was a dumb idea from the beginning.
I know, but at least it would make sense. It just seems like, oh, what? I can be anything aside of in the Poppy form? Like, no. She just forgets to do that. Like, oh, right, I have a
Am
rider
I still
form.
connected?
Yeah, it's your audio.
Why did we go silent again?
I don't know. Rai, is your audio coming?
Yeah, I can't hear Rai anymore. Rai. Okay, Rai is down for the count.
I mean, like, I think we made it to the end, right?
Yeah, we did.
Do you want to use his notes or just...
No, his notes pretty much ends there.
Okay. I guess I'll just continue. So what happens next is Kronos tries to take their trophies, basically, but Like Emu shows up with the improve Hypermuteki with the save function.
I already read that.
Oh, cool, you're back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. My internet decided to cut out then after all this time. Uh, the clear tokens unlock Game Deus, and Dan begins getting giddy seeing the final boss he created appear. I actually love it. Out of all the faces Dan has made throughout this entire series, this is one of my favorite ones. Like, he looks like he's almost about to shed a tear in his own pride. The CEO Masamune was talking with earlier sneaks up and steals his Buggle Driver and gets a good laugh at his misfortune.
Well,
Game
it
day.
is not. It is not actually Masamune's bugle driver. It was graphites.
Oh, sorry. That would explain the why it was so far away. Game Deus now has appeared. Episode end.
Yeah, that's about it. Game disappears now.
I mean, there were like tying in the movie super hard. Also, like nobody noticed this guy. I mean, like yeah, I guess Game Day is showing up will probably draw your attention, but like how?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have noticed him. Fuck.
Okay.
There's something way more important going on in the sky.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, that's a pretty good excuse. But like, how did he even know? But I guess he's following Masamune, so it makes sense. But like,
Mm.
what
He
the?
really had to have just followed Mamune.
Okay. Yeah, the fact that now this is a branching off point for the movie, this episode. So yeah. Now it was in the business deal. What happened? Depending on what happened, like either Masamune says yes or no, the outcome that either you get the true ending or the show ending.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I'm wondering.
that's what actually it was said by the at least by what I have heard from Twitter and other places.
Oh, really? I
Yeah.
thought that at this point the movie was actually just going to be like a post-series movie.
No, it is gonna be alternate timeline thingy.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's kind of dumb. Like they could have
Yeah,
just
no.
tied them both in at this point.
Yeah,
No,
I
the,
mean,
the thing is that okay, what actually it is that how video games have like two endings. Like one, if you complete the game with certain events, you get a true ending, and then
Yeah.
you get a normal ending if you do everything normally. That's what they are trying to go for.
Eh.
I mean, like, okay, in the I think the trailers and stuff for the movies have started showing up. The movie writers, do they have Buggle Drivers or do they have the belts?
One has a gamer driver, and everybody else is, I guess, like the right players, I guess, for everybody else.
Okay, so basically that must be the timeline that wasn't reset. So it makes sense. Like Masamune gave them one driver. Whereas in this they get the Buggle Driver, so I guess it's different because they can't use it. Only Bugsters can use it. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I guess that's what they meant. Also with this guy, okay, his name is like what, like Johnny Maximilian or something?
Johnny Maximo.
Yeah, right. With such a random English name, the character is super like Japanese kabuki theater thing going on. I mean, that explains why we were freaking being attacked by ninjas in that movie. But like, yeah, such a weird aesthetic for that name. But what are you gonna do? As for like, I guess the only thing left is like Game Deus, and it's like, what the fuck? This is literally like an Ultraman villain just showed up. Like, at first I'm like, wait, did we get like Beguile from Ultraman Mebius? Because like that's a pretty major like reoccurring character in that show. Or like a Sentai villain. I'm like, this is not what a Rider villain looks like. You know, we're
I'm pretty sure they're gonna have some twist or something like that in the show.
My sorry, Zero, did you have something to say?
No, go ahead.
My problem with the movie being called True Ending is it's implying that, like, okay, so this is the canon, this is what happens. Uh, like, I think it would be better if it was called, like, Secret Ending, because then it can just be
Yeah.
like something crazy. Uh,
Mm.
Alternatively, there are games that do have true endings that are just extensions of the normal ending. Like, no, there's a bit more that actually happens after that point, kind of thing, and that would have fit in with the movie just being a post-series movie, like true ending. Like, no, it didn't stop there; it stops here.
I know it makes sense, but you have to remember it's Toei, which means it's a Japanese company using English phrasing for marketing of a movie, and like Toei's word choices for their English is always not. It's usually not the best. So
Yeah.
like, I can kind
Well,
of let it
I guess
pass.
like wait. I guess the Japanese kids must be like English. Cool. Let's go and
Yeah,
watch.
yeah. It's the same thing. It's like, um, like we think, oh, cool, Japanese stuff, right? Like it's the whole like, um, why so many writers have like dark whatever writer, and it's like that sounds
Yeah.
lame, but I'm like Yami Yugi, there you go. Like
Mm.
it sounds
Yeah.
cool because it's Japanese and English, where it's like it's the same thing. Where it's like, if you give the Japanese English, it sounds cool to them. It's more like if you don't understand it and it's foreign, it sounds cool. Basic.
Okay. Yeah, I would say it's the My Hero Academia and Boku no Hero Academia effect. Like the Japan calls it My Hero Academia and America calls it Boku no Hero Academia.
I say they called My Hero Academia here all the time.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying by
Yeah,
majority.
yeah. It's the super. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's Super Robot Wars, because in Japan the franchise is called Super Robot Wars, but when they localized it the first time in English, it was Super Robot Tyson.
Okay, if Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Meteor and
Oh
Budokai
god.
Tenkaichi 3.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, the sparkling meteor thing is just a reference to like the
I know.
intro and stuff.
I know.
But like, okay, Budokai Tenkaichi 3 makes so much more sense because it's just talking about the tournament. Like the Budokai Tenkaichi is the Dragon Ball tournament, which is like strongest in the universe.
Yeah, I do know that.
Um, but yeah, it's one of those things where it's like random naming things. But like, you would think they would choose a better thing, but like, I guess True Ending is more marketable because it's like, oh shit, I have to see this movie now because this is actually super important to the series. Where it's, if you call it, well, it's like it's a side story. Like,
Okay, okay. Here's the thing. The reason why I really want to watch the movie is because this guy's got a lot of money from marketing Sony VR.
yeah, yeah. No, it's not the marketing thing. There's actually like a thing that ties into the show that is just for the PlayStation VR.
Oh,
Yeah, there's like a
I
like
didn't know
a
that.
like a special or something that ties in, so you can play it if you have the VR. So I
Nice.
think that's why they're pushing the VR thing. So it's like it's a dual thing where it's like, yeah, we'll put it in the movie and then we'll make like a special thing for it, because Toa's been doing a lot of like, hey, look, this thing's on a DVD and this is for the DVD specials and this is for the app and stuff like that. So
Mm,
they probably just did that.
wait. I would say that's a smart move because you're getting money from other sources other than the toys, so can have a bit more free reign and also bigger budget as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's like, might as well. Like it doesn't hurt you too much. It's like a weird power up, but like all the movies have weird power ups, so like who cares? Like just take the money at
Yeah.
that point. Uh, because like
Uh,
it's weird, but like think of it. Japan has two giant game like console companies. It's like Nintendo and Sony, right? And like Sony's the only one doing VR. right? And
Mm.
VR is like the hot thing right now in gaming. So like, of course, if Sony's like, here, plug our thing, it's like, yeah, we can tie it into game. Also, what's really weird is like, oh yes, like the other CEO is like, yes, um, we'll use VR to push Kamen Rider Chronicle. Are you gonna make new content for us? And it's like, dude, I just wanted to go worldwide. It's like, no, you gotta make more content for us. I'm like, isn't Kamen
He
Rider
wasn't even
Chronicle?
just saying new content. He was saying a new game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No, okay, yeah. I guess he wanted a one game for the game. That.
Yeah, I mean the problem is like I see you are Masamune doesn't want to make another game because like creating a like competitor would damage his like like global expansion of Kamen Rider Chronicle. The other thing is like why the fuck would you ever want VR when like you could literally transform into a rider using one of those gashats? Like
Yeah, I'm not
Pretty
sure
VR
what
much.
does
the
not
VR
compare.
implementation idea was.
Like it's like saying, "Holy shit, you can have a holodeck." I'm like, "There's magic right there." Like a holodeck's cool, but it
I
just can't compete. Go ahead.
This game right here in my hand is a holodeck.
You can basically become a video game character in real life. That is cooler than being a video game character in a virtual world.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, there's no. Okay, the only way the VR thing works is it's safer. You don't get the infection. I'm like, okay, that's fine,
Yeah.
but that defeats the whole purpose of Kamen Rider Chronicle, which is to control people. Um,
Or maybe like I don't know, with the trailers, whatever we have seen, I guess everybody's infected.
yeah, yeah. I think that's more the Game Deus outbreak, though.
Okay.
It's less the VR thing, and it's more that Game Deus came out, and he has the ability to just infect everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's like Lamargra or something from like the first Blade movie.
This one was pretty. This one. The next episode looks pretty good. Like the one fight that I always wanted that I never got was Dan versus Kiria.
Oh, that's what's happening. Yeah, I didn't see the previews for next week.
Oh, like the rematch?
Yeah, I want that.
You know, if
And
Kiria,
and
go ahead.
it's very okay. It is very funny that you have like Kiria using Shakariki Sports Geshat and riding on the Bakso bike.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty insane. But like, lob all the bike stuff. Like, what is he? We have that Ghost crossover. Is like Houdini's icon just gonna show up to aid him too?
Okay. Oh yeah, I think I gotta go now.
All right, man.
Yeah, now's a good time to end, anyways.
Good. Good night, everyone. See you
Uh,
next time.
Good night. Bye bye.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.